my intros seem to just fluster you time and time again.
You never cease to amaze me. It's
Thank you. I
hard.
take that as a compliment.
I couldn't find the phrase I was looking for because I was completely stunned by your amazing Texan accent.
Thank you.
That was
Thank
Texan,
you.
right?
Sure. Why not?
Man, I'm so good. Please tell me. At least give me this
Okay,
little bit of the
yes,
victory.
I will give you it.
Yes, let's say it was Texan. Okay, you're absolutely right. The first game, I wasn't expecting a 25-minute victory for Na'Vi based off the way it started out and the lineup that they had, but they just really made it work for themselves. Great mid-game play. Sigma had a couple of lacks, I guess we should say, in terms of the timing that they had in their lineup in general. Didn't really get enough out of it compared to what Na'Vi did with theirs, and basically resulted in Na'Vi getting a really significant lead around the 25-minute mark. And to me, that game was, I wouldn't say it was over when Sigma forfeited, but it was pretty close. And since it's a best of 5, it's a lot about keeping your head up, staying focused, and not draining all your energy by using it in an almost lost game. It's something we see in all types of tournaments, both the less important and the really important ones, is that if it's not the absolute last game, you would rather not completely drain yourself, I have no better way of saying it, by fighting for an almost lost cause.
Right.
And then instead just carry over to the next game, reset yourselves, start over, new draft, new hero pool. And that's the cool thing about this. It's you never really know what the second game is going to be, or the third, or the fourth, or the fifth. So
especially when there's a centaur involved, Synderen.
yeah,
especially
and it's
when
going to be
there's a centaur.
first picked as well. I guess, I mean, you're just so happy these days, aren't you?
I've actually been watching some Captain's Mode games, just to kill time here and there, and Centaur has just blown up on the scene, completely blown up. And we've talked about this a bit, and a lot of it has to do with the ultimate being buffed as far as cooldowns are concerned. But first pick from Na'Vi, and in fact, I don't think they played Centaur that much until very recently, as in like the last week. And they have just completely dominated with it from what I've seen. Excited to see it. Although, and actually, I'll get into the build later because I'm very passionate about my Centaur, as you know, Synderen. So just say something before I go off on a tangent.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say how you play the hero, and then you're gonna give your input, and then everyone's gonna disagree with that.
How dare you?
No, it's true.
Top 50 Centaur, bro. It's
true. You play a mean Centaur. I'm not sure if it's on Funnick level, who is playing it for Na'Vi. He played it really well. I think it was a game against Alliance I saw, or some sort of highlights. Played a really great Centaur, and I think it's a hero that the whole concept of the hero just suits Na'Vi so well. I'm surprised it took them so long to start using it. It's a really aggressive hero. It's one that encourages you to both engage and disengage from fights, so really fighting oriented. And its strength, and it's kind of a really commitment type of hero. It's perfect for Funnick, who also plays heroes like Bristleback and Timbersaw. Really,
well, if you look really closely on the model of Centaur, the actual forehead, there's a tattoo that says "balls deep." That's his motto in life and in bed, and everywhere else.
I don't have graphics quality on high, so I guess that's why I can't see that one.
So Anthony May just picked up for Sigma, which
that is something different.
He has a tattoo on his forehead as well. Doesn't say balls deep, it says I hate magic, so. Or is it fuck magic?
Says,
I don't know.
Let me finish farming.
Or that. Oh, they take the Viper though. That might have been something that Na'Vi wanted, to be honest. Khavos loves that hero.
So there's a couple of things about this draft that are really interesting. So we mentioned the Centaur first pick already. I want to mention the bans really quickly because it seems like the way of dealing with Sigma that pretty much every team in our tournament so far has been trying is to ban out supports. You ban the really strong lane supports because Sigma are so good at playing that type of game, and this time around it was Venomancer and Visage. And Sigma instead are gonna ban top tier, I guess we could say, in both the Lycan and the Naga, which are being picked a lot in Captain's Mode. So the trade-off is going to be Centaur for double stuns with Sven and Lion. There's nothing is given as to whether the Sven is a support yet, which is totally an option.
At your service.
And then Na'Vi get themselves Tinker together with Pugna, so kind of a really teamfight zoning kind of lineup where...
Yes! Yes! I was just thinking
the reason you're so
I love him.
We haven't had that picked in our tournament. For no one knows what reason.
He's available. He's available in every pool too. It's just like mocking us. Just that cuddly face, just staring into the abyss.
And he's actually getting more in Captain's Mode as well, especially in China. He's been picked quite a lot in the position, both in position 1 and position 2. He's being played here, and I'm just curious to see how Sigma are going to lane this. So for me, this is kind of The question for me here is, can Sigma fight once Na'Vi sets the battlefield? They can put forward, they can put down the march, and then they have power shot and fissure to zone out opponents. I feel like if Na'Vi get to set that up, Sigma just can't initiate into that. I don't think so. Even though they have pretty tanky heroes with Brewmaster as well as Viper, I think it's going to be too hard. So it's going to be a lot more about the lanes once again, and I know I'm saying this all the time for Sigma, but they often draft lineups that are good in lane and mid game, but I think in this game, in terms of just raw team fight, I think they're fighting a losing battle if they try that, so they need to skirmish a lot more.
Something I also wanted to mention is the Brewmaster Drunken Haze. Boy, it's taken me a while to think of these names. Thunderclap, Drunken Haze, Drunken Brawler. Typically, it's a very underrated skill. In this game, not a whole lot of use other than for the slow mechanic, if you think about it. They have absolutely no right clickers on Na'Vi. Especially when Kuroki's the one playing the Windrunner, so not going to be seeing too much damage coming out from her. I want to give a huge shout out to everybody. We hit 40k, Cinder, congratulations. So as is the...
So you're going to have to show your kitties.
Yeah, the kittens. I think we're just going to make a video on YouTube. You think that's acceptable?
I don't know.
Showing the kitties?
Only if you show the kitties together with the tweet with your titties. Then I'm down with it.
Excuse me? I will not subject the kitties to these things, okay? We don't cuss around them.
It sounds good though, doesn't it?
It does, but it's wrong.
I can't admit it does.
Anyway, as we have a pause here, we're going to go to the lineup. Dendi playing the Tinker, no huge surprise there. Kovost playing the Farming Pugna. Kuroki, as we talked about, playing the Wind Ranger, Wind Runner, whatever you want to call it. Funnick playing the Beastly Centaur. And last but not least, Puppy on the Earthshaker. A little bit of role reversal. Kuroki, of course, was the Earthshaker last game, who was amazing. And Puppy has some big shoes to fill, but I think he's up for the task.
Yeah, he's one of the more experienced Earthshaker players. I think it's actually the one hero he got most renowned for in Dota 1. I guess most people at this point know him for, in particular, his Chen and Enchantress plays, but in Dota 1 he played a really sick Earthshaker and Sand King in an era when Chen and Enchantress weren't really that favored. He was making a lot of amazing moves with very low level supports, and Shaker is one of those who can really sacrifice himself for the team and still be incredibly useful just because of the way Fissure works. We've seen Chinese games where Shaker didn't even have his ultimate at minute 20 because he was level 5 and stuff like that. And that's kind of a thing of the past, but in my book, one of the best supports for Puppy and his style of play, so definitely agree with putting him on that role. As for Sigma, we have got Fata playing as the Viper in the mid lane. We'll have Pass as well as Mad as the support duo with Lion and Sven respectively. Paris, Sokshka will be playing as Anti-Mage. And finally that leaves Miggle to play the Brewmaster in a position 3 by the looks of it, which is... gives me a little bit of flashbacks to, I guess, sometime early last year. It's really long ago that we've seen that, but he's a hero who does a lot with levels only. It's generally good to have a Blink Dagger, but not necessarily something you have to do when you have Initiators on your team already with Lion and Sven. He's pretty tanky, 4 armor, 300 move speed, a stout shield, 600 health. He's not the easiest hero to bring down, but I don't know if this is the right decision here for Sigma, because I feel like in this game, the Brewmaster really needs to be the one making a difference. When you have an Anti-Mage and you sacrifice a Brew, what do you really have in the mid game?
True. Well, Viper, I suppose.
Yeah, well, they had to give him farm somewhere. That's where it's... you can't really disagree with putting the Viper mid, right? Because he's a great mid laner, he needs the farm and levels as well, but sacrificing a Brew in this particular game, I am afraid for Sigma that could backfire, but we're going to see how it turns out.
Brewmaster is one of my favorite heroes. It's kind of saddening that he's not picked as consistently as I mean, when they buffed his ultimate, the Aghanim Scepter, meaning they added the skills, the Thunderclap and the passives, as well as the Drunken Haze, each respective panda, or spirit as they are now called, I thought that was a huge buff. And then, in addition, in the last update, I believe it was the cooldown was reduced. Similar to what Centaur. And of course Centaur is now being played, but Brewmaster not as much as you would expect. Of course, I haven't personally seen any Brewmaster games recently, so this is going to be exciting to see. I mean, ever since they changed, again, I'm just going to keep reiterating changes that were made to the Blink Dagger, as Funnick's actually going to run into Sven and Paris. They don't really have enough to kill him, though, so just doing a little bit of right-click damage. Sven is a beast of burden in his own right, so not too scared. Funnick's going to place a ward.
It's actually Mad placing that ward, and that's what's really... that's a special ward to place at this point. I'm wondering what Sigma wants to accomplish with this. Yes. It's a little unusual. I mean, the warden itself is also special. I mean, come on, look at it. Fucking flower thing.
That's awesome.
What is that actually called? Augury's Garden. Who's Augury? What's Augury?
Augury? I don't know. It is an English word, but of course, as has been highlighted during this
yeah, why am I asking you?
My vocabulary is complete and utter garbage.
At least you know the word vocabulary.
That's true. Oh, we're gonna have a gank attempt here.
Yeah, we're gonna have trouble for Dendi right now if he moves forward. Yeah, he's in trouble.
And he is. I'm surprised they're leading with the Impale. Kind of a mistake.
Wow.
The range on the Stormhammer is way higher. Oh, he doesn't even. He has. I'm sorry. He has level 1 Hex. Interesting.
Yeah,
I
so,
guess that is interesting. Yeah, 2.5 at level 1, I believe.
It's the way Hex has been changed. It's amazing on level 1 and arguably better than Earth Spike in most cases, which is a 1-second stun with 60 damage. Of course, you can move a bit in Hex, but you're reduced to 100 movement speed for 2.5, so it makes sense, but I agree with you. I think Sven should have gone in front there and got the Stormhammer off, but at the same time, Fata also kind of, you know, they didn't know this opportunity was gonna come up that early, but he had Nether Toxin on level 1, so he didn't even have the poison attack, which else could have set up for it, but he just wanted that extra last hitting power, which is completely normal in this kind of scenario. It's just, yeah, a little unfortunate here for Sigma, who could have definitely got a first blood out of that.
I want to talk about Centaur real quick before the action starts ramping up. You remember the Era game? Fnatic Era playing Centaur, and I was criticizing him for not going Blink right away, and he ended up going, I think he went Vanguard, which I'm not a huge fan of. What I've noticed, and this is me being completely serious, when these people playing the Centaur in the recent games that have been very successful, what they've been doing is picking up the Hood, which is my favorite item to pick up on Centaur, because as you mistakenly pointed out last cast, which isn't, you know, not to your fault, because things change so much in this game, it's really hard to keep up, but it is not pure damage anymore. Not only, well, I guess it never was pure damage to himself, but either way,
the double edge.
Right, the double edge it deals magic damage to enemies, which is a nerf, as well. It doesn't mini stun either anymore, which it used to for those that don't know, but it deals magical damage to yourself, which is really important to note, because Vanguard won't really do anything about that other than giving you raw HP. That's why Hood is amazing on him, plus the fact that you're initiating, and chances are you're going to be going against a decent magical team in most lineups, which this is the case as well. So I feel that is the #1 reason that he's been doing well recently, is the item changes.
The Hood definitely makes a lot of sense on the Centaur for that reason, and of course, another thing is your effective health. When you're getting magic resistance, it's really important that you have enough health to make your magic resistance relevant. And Centaur is a strength hero with a pretty decent, he has really sick strength gain. He used to have an ultimate, of course, that gave him strength per level on that, and
that was so beastly.
and his base strength got nerfed as well, but his strength gain is 3.8. I think it's the highest in the game. So when you run a Hood and you hit level 10, the amount of flat strength you've got really makes the Hood completely worth it. The amount of spell damage you can negate with that is kind of insane, so I agree with that. I think many games it's best to get the Blink Dagger really early if you can, but when you're playing the off-lane Centaur, perhaps getting the Hood first in many scenarios will not be a bad decision. I'm wondering if Funnick actually saw that smoke right there from Pass and Mad. There's a ping coming out from him. I think he's warning Dendi. Unfortunately for Sigma, probably going to be another unsuccessful gank, and when you're running a Sven Lion duo, these early ganks just really need to work, because these heroes are terrible at jungling and both heavily level dependent.
Yeah, I mean, in Captain's Mode's games, you're used to being able to pick up a hero like, I don't know, like a Crystal Maiden as an example, who can just go into the jungle indefinitely, and then of course has the opportunity to gank at any point. And of course, you put Chen and Enchantress into that conversation as well, as they are now bottom lane. The ward, of course, is for Sigma, so Kuroki and Khavos aren't going to see this coming. Are they going to be able to do enough damage with this Panda? They're actually aggressing on the Panda. They're putting themselves in terrible positions. Miggle getting shackled. Here comes the aggression. Stun onto Kuroki, into the Thunderclap, but look at Khavos' ward doing work. It's actually might actually get a kill! It does get a kill! Oh, okay, I'm sorry, that was the power shot getting the kill, but
oh my goodness.
Either one.
So they just did a 3 versus 2 gank and died 2 heroes. This is almost the worst thing that can happen. And again, it's because this support duo, they don't have enough in themselves this early on, and Miggle couldn't really, he's level 3, so what he effectively had against Kuro wasn't enough. And I think another interesting thing about the engage was, I don't think... Oh, yeah, Viper getting really low here. I'm not sure if Sigma were aware that Kuroki didn't have a point in Wind Run, because you obviously don't know that for sure. So they didn't want to commit too hard on a Wind Ranger who was just going to use Wind Run, but as a matter of fact, he didn't have that skill point, but the enemy obviously doesn't know that, and that might have just saved his life there, that they gave up going for him because they were like, he's just going to Wind Run.
That was a big disaster. I mean, this
disaster.
is too... Okay, no, the first gank on Dendi, I mean, a little bit of a misplay, I feel like, because the Sven wasn't leading the charge, but in the end, it's not a huge deal, I suppose. But going from top lane to bottom lane and getting... Not only do you get nothing, but you die. 2 of you die. That is a... What did I say? A big disaster? I think,
yeah.
Despite the English being horrible, yeah, it's
disaster
a big
is already kind of serious, right?
I had to put extra emphasis on it, okay?
It's a huge catastrophe.
Huge catastrophe, yeah. Either one. That's fine with me.
Both are good with me.
Power shot being used to push the lane. Of course, Nether Blast should be enough to get the kill here, and it is. Sigma can't do anything about this. A level 2 Sven along with the level 3 Lion. Ay.
This early game is just falling apart. You know, it's one thing that their ganks failed, but it's also about the amount of farm they're losing out on. So they're 4,000 gold behind at 6 minutes right now. That's, you know, we generally, I've said this many times before, we consider the whole 1,000 gold per minute is kind of, and if you're behind by that kind of amount at like 10 to 20 minutes, then the game is almost lost. We're of course not at that value yet, but when you're looking at this so early into the game, it's just... This difference is absolutely insane. 4k gold, 3k experience for Na'Vi, and they have a lineup that's good at taking towers, as we talked about before the game started. They have Pugna, and they have the Tinker with March as his priority skill. Sigma really needs to make something happen soon.
Miguel can't do anything. I mean, when you're not level 6, you really can't do anything here. Sven, level 3 only. He's going to find Kuroki here. Thunderclap to follow. Wind Run is still not powered up, and the power shot is actually going to completely miss. But Sigma can't really finish them off, because Lion was not there at the moment. Fissure to follow. Of course, the beautiful Nether Ward is just such an amazing skill. Expect him to... Yeah, he's going to use his Decrepify on it to prevent any damage coming to it. How many hits does it take from a tower to kill, or a creep even, to kill a Nether Ward?
12.
12?
Yeah, I think the tower...
Didn't really
I'm pretty
realize
sure
you could
the
use
tower
that in
counts
front
as
of the
creep.
tower.
Oh,
Fissure.
man.
Oh my goodness.
More like fucking dead, am I right?
He's gonna be mid. He has 1,500 gold at this point. He almost has. He's getting closer and closer to the elusive Boots of Travel pickup. Of course, Phonic can't really kill Anti-Mage, especially with 1 in Spell Shield, because as we talked about, magical damage, not pure damage anymore, so not the greatest of counters.
Level 7 though, at 7 minutes in the offlane, you know. This is almost the ideal scenario for an offlaner. On top of that, he's got some decent farm. He's got 26 CS, which is great at minute 7. And in comparison, Miguel is not level 6 yet, and he has 5 CS.
Number 3
again.
on Dendi, and this might actually be a kill. Viper Strike used. Is he going to be able to take anybody down with him? Nope. Earth Spike's going to be enough to keep him locked down. So
Sigma
finally,
needs
something.
So bad. And they need more of it, because if they don't get Finger of Death online sometime soon, I don't think they have the damage to execute these ganks long enough. The mech is almost available. I think maybe Pugna actually does have it on the courier. He does. There's a full mech for Vods now at 8 minutes.
Illusion.
Wow.
It's looking grim, but Sigma, of course, they do have an anti-mage farming, and if they start executing these ganks and get 1 or 2 good teamfights with the Primal Split, I'm definitely not counting them out yet, but it's still a 5k gold disadvantage at 8 minutes, which should not be underestimated. And of course, when you have a lot of your gold on the AM, who... That's worth noting as well, this hero doesn't immediately convert gold to value, if that makes sense. He needs more before he's worth his net worth compared to other heroes. So the fact that he's farmed right now is effectively just turning him into a Battle Fury which needs more farm.
Right.
And that means
of
now
course
his
he's
lead
still a
might
ways
be
off
bigger
from.
and bigger yet.
Is he anything on the courier? Okay, so he did go for treads first, so that's going to slow down his Battle Fury a little bit. Of course, it is only, we're only talking about 9 minutes in, but it just seems so grim because Na'Vi is completely dominating pretty much every lane. I mean, of course, it is a 1v1 situation where it should have been a 3v1. Do you think they could have gotten a kill against the center if they had stuck to that lane? They're actually going to have some action. You get to hold that horses there. Chavost getting storm bolted. They're not going to aggress because Miguel, he does have his ult, but can't really get in position to use his Thunderclap without a Blink Dagger or anything of the sort. So, this is just going to be a slow siege for Na'Vi in mid.
Yeah, and These are the sieges that Sigma, I don't feel like, can contest right now. So they're gonna have to try to avoid that Navi get together up, either by trying to split push or by being the aggressors with some more skirmishes. But the problem is I think they used all 3 of their smokes, right? They don't even...
They used a lot.
Yeah, they have cooldown in smoke. The next one is in 1 minute, so they're gonna get another opportunity then, but then they're out. If they can't catch Na'Vi out with smokes, I feel like Na'Vi will just go from one lane to the other and just start pushing these towers, and if they don't get caught off guard before they reach them, all my money is on Na'Vi to win every single fight. It's just how huge the advantage is right now. There's just no denying it.
Over 5,000 gold lead for Na'Vi, as we've alluded to. Experience not that much in their favor, but of course, overall their supports for Sigma are down in the trenches, both level 4 actually, bottom of the barrel right now. Funnick getting closer and closer to going for that. He's actually going for the hood before the blink, it looks like. I guess I'm actually kind of questioning that. He's going to have Viper Strike applied on Kuroki, but he's going to use his wind run to get away. Should be good to go. He's going to use Stormbolt from effing Mad, right clicks. Is this going to be enough? The mech is going to use to keep him alive. Viper coming around from the side. Funnick and Kuroki. Kuroki is going to be the first to fall. The ultimate from Anthony is actually used, but here comes Funnick. Doubles through, triple stomp into the... Oh, the burst damage is insane. Miggle doesn't even want to use his ultimate for whatever reason to stay alive. Okay. Triple kill for Khabost. Oh,
wait, where did Funnick come from? He doesn't even have a blink. How did he get a 3-man crush?
Invis rune.
I had an Invis rune for that stomp. Amazing setup. Yeah, I was about to say this fight was starting to look good for Sigma. They got 1 kill, they had control of Havost, who was out of mana, but with the Mana Void already used on Kuro, they didn't have that to burst down the Pugna and maybe a secondary target. Look at Pugna. He's got a mana pool of 1,000 and a health pool of 700, and Havost was almost out of mana. If they hit a Mana Void on that, now he just completely crumbled, but it was already used for the kill on the Wind Ranger, and I'm actually not sure it was necessary, so unfortunate here for Sigma. I can understand where Soxker's coming from, because right now they're getting desperate to just get some sort of kills and get some sort of feeling of momentum in the game, but yeah. Gonna get one here on Puffy.
Yep. Oh my god, he actually does it. See, that's the difference between Na'Vi and Sigma. Brewmaster didn't use his ultimate, and Puffy's like, fuck it, just take some damage, man, just take it. This top tier tower, or tier 1 tower top, is gonna go down. 2 levels in return. This is an interesting build, actually. So 2-4-2, as there's going to be some TP support. Stampede is up. Sorry, that was Dendi TP. And actually, they're going to catch Sven. He's getting really low. Funnick. Oh god, the burst damage is out of control right now. That's 2 dead, just like that for Sigma. And this tower.
I think Miggle tried to use his ult. He died to the Nether Ward while casting his ult. I'm pretty sure that's how Havost got that kill.
He still hasn't used his ult. One time Fada.
Another shackle.
Beautiful shackle. Earthspike's gonna follow though. Havost doing a little burst damage. I say a little bit. That's actually a lot of burst damage. Dendi not able to finish him off with the rockets, but the right clicks will suffice. Lion backing up now. So Blinkdagger is now up on... So he did go for Blink. He didn't finish. So he goes Ring of Health and a casual Ring of Regen. So halfway to his hood, he's like, just get the Blink, whatever.
Now we're at the 1,000 gold per minute. That is... wow, that's just brutal.
Initiation from Funnick. Oh boy, Sven, you've never looked so squishy, good sir. You have never looked so squishy. This tier 2 tower is all but dead, and that is actually the last outer tower to go Navi's way. So from here on out, it's going to be base towers. You would just expect Roshan to follow shortly here.
See,
I don't know what Sigma can do.
They're leading by 6 towers, 8 kills, and also leading on farm by the looks of it overall in terms of last hits, so... Toxka doesn't even have the highest farm value. That one actually belongs to Dendi.
Double edge, Fada. Doesn't quite go down though, the nice Stormbolt. Here comes a beautiful Mana Void, but it's only level 1. And really nothing comes of it overall. Paskin extremely low. Khabost is going to be the target of choice. Looks like he might go down. He will. Panda finally using his ultimate. You're seeing the sun come out. Puppy doesn't have his ultimate because he used it on those 3 people in his death. Is he going to regret that is the question. A nice cyclone onto the center Warner, but Anti-Mage is the one to die. That is a 2-for-1 exchange.
Double kill!
Right now, Puppy and the rest of Na'Vi is going to continue the aggression. It's apparently Tinker. Oh, he's going down. Miggle, burst damage. He gets bursted, Cinderin.
Yeah, he really did. It's just, you know, we know how good Na'Vi are at playing aggressively, and when you have these kind of hero combinations that just have massive burst potential and huge mid-game, both in the last game and in this one, it's just the way that Na'Vi managed to combine their spells and their movement together as a team that's just outclassing Sigma. Sigma's skirmishes failed, their teamfight execution isn't as good, and we praised them before the series started that they've been doing better lately. Today, so far, just hasn't really been their day. There were some good moments in Game 1. In this game, it feels like we have to... Yeah, I don't know how to translate this. There's a really good saying in Danish that we definitely don't want to do this, but... okay. It's probably something with Vikings and shit. No, it's not. You're racist.
I was actually saying ugh because of the Vanguard. After my speech about how good though it is, he goes for Vanguard. He's gonna go balls deep into Fata, and here comes the TP from Dendi. Oh, actually, yeah, he got in time. I thought the creep was gonna die. Actually, nice fissure. Fata's gonna be dead. Question is Fata gonna go the wave? Nope, he is not. Burst damage not quite enough. So Vos is getting caught out. 2v1. I mean, when you're running away from, like, oh boy. Goodbye. I would expect a GG here. I don't see how they could possibly come back from this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
-1.
Well, Sasha,
-5.
he feels like if he gets that Battle Fury,
you know,
he'll just farm some more.
I'm a little bit split always when it comes to early GGs because I feel like sometimes teams give up too early, but at the same time, as we talked about before this game, you don't want to stall it too long and drain yourself too much on your energy. It's if Sigma want to have any chance of coming back in a best of 5, they definitely can't afford to get stuck mentally inside this game. If this game is over, so be it, and then they need to take 3 straight. Because in comparison to what conditions they gave up under in Game 1, this one is looking way, way worse.
Oh, Paris, if he goes down here, which he almost does, the Echo Slam was not canceled. I thought it might have, but completely wasted from Puppy. And now Na'Vi's on the back foot. As Miggle, of course, can't really catch. He is just brown boots and 7 charges on his one. This is a poor Panda, if I've ever seen one. Next is going to be popped by Phobos to keep him alive, at least for now. The ultimate Primal Split being used. Dendi actually doing a little bit of damage, but getting stunned out. Nice Centaur War Runner ultimate's going to keep everybody alive as they attempt to run away. Phobos somehow still alive during this entire game. This just shows how fun these kids are. Dendi getting stunned out. There's Miggle in his true form. He's going to take... Oh, the nice Decrepify from Phobos is going to save Dendi. And a beautiful shackle shot to follow. Sven getting extremely low. Fat is going to attempt to kill Puppy. Looks like it might be the case, but here comes Phonic, who gets completely cockworked by the trees, apparently. But we'll get the kill nonetheless. And in the end, it is a 5-for-1. So 2 players from Na'Vi staying alive with the skin of their teeth. Dendi and Puppy. And there's
just phenomenal play. There's not so much more to say about that fight. All the details again, the initiation from Na'Vi, the Decrepify like you pointed out, then Dendi saved Puppy with a laser in the last second against Viper, and just the raw advantage that Na'Vi had at this point was just way too big to overcome for Sigma. So really, if Na'Vi continue playing like this, it's, I guess,